Everybody's attention. I've got someone I want to introduce that I think you guys are going to really enjoy hearing this story about this gentleman. So first of all, I'd like the clerk to report Citation 98.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Citation 98, Representatives Riley and Tate. Citation of appreciation. The House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Kentucky hereby recognizes and honors Jerry Bransford.
Gentleman from Barron.
Thank you. I would like for Jerry to stand up in the gallery, and Jerry's up here to my left. Jerry Bransford was born in Glasgow, Kentucky in 1947. His first 11 years of formal education was at Ralph Bunche Segregated School. Then he was one of 16 black students that integrated Glasgow High School, class of 1964, and then graduated from Glasgow High in 1965. He continued his education at Western Kentucky State Technical College in Paducah, graduated in 1967. He then was employed by Chrysler Corporation in Indianapolis. 1968, he was one of 8 recruits from Glasgow that entered the U.S. Army at the height of the Vietnam War. After completing training at Fort Knox, his commanding officer recommended for accelerated training as a non-commissioned officer candidate at the academy at Fort Knox. Upon graduation from this academy, he awarded the rank of Sergeant E5. After completing 2 years of active duty service, he was awarded an honorable discharge. Then he went to work for Dow Corning in E-Town for 30 years. So he has a great story there, but it gets even more interesting. Jerry then went to work for Mammoth Cave National Park, and he worked for 18 years as a seasonal tour guide. But here's an interesting part of this. He was a 5th-generation guide. It started with his great-great-grandfather, Matterson Bransford, who was owned by an Englishman. And eventually, in Virginia, and his owner moved him to Nashville, and then eventually he ended up working for the Cave. Then in 1849, his great-grandfather was born into slavery, and he eventually worked at Mammoth Cave. Then in 1876, his grandfather was born, and he eventually worked at Mammoth Cave. Then in 1914, his father was born near Mammoth Cave, and he worked at the cave. Then, of course, as I mentioned, Jerry started working in 1947. And this story is phenomenal. Jerry's very well respected in our area. People think very highly of him. They think very highly of his family. Now, he lives in Glendale at this time, so if you're from Hardin County, he's yours. But I have an article about Jerry from the News Enterprise, which I think is E-Town's newspaper. And he mentions some things in there I think are pretty profound. In 1935, when the park was in transition from an estate, his father wondered how it felt. He wonders how his father felt knowing that you were suddenly no longer qualified to do a job you had done all your life. He questioned how it felt to pick and shovel as a laborer preparing the trail under a strong boss that didn't know as much about the cave as you did. Jerry's quote is saying, "Sometimes with the special connection I have, it kind of breaks my heart and makes a tear come to my eye." One other thing that I would like to mention that was stated by Jerry, as he said, "I feel that I was meant to be a representative of Mammoth Cave National Park, not only as an interpretive ranger, but as a representative of so many untold stories that went unsaid for generations and generations." If you can imagine, your family had 5 generations work at one of the wonders of the world. And as I stated earlier, Jerry is very well respected by the people in his community. He's very well respected in Glasgow, and he's very well respected at Mammoth Cave. And I just think it's very important that we have a chance. He's been very patient and waited here for 4.5 hours through all this debate. And I just think it's a great opportunity to honor a great man who him and his family did a great service at Mammoth Cave, but also for the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the United States of America. So there's Jerry right there.